Cowboys Nation, buckle up. Our victory against the Steelers was just the beginning. Two key injuries have rocked the roster, but an unexpected star is rising from the backfield. Is Rico Dowdle the new RB1 Dallas desperately needs? From offensive line shakeups to defensive depth concerns. We're breaking down the major news that could make or break our playoff run. Stay tuned, the next few minutes could change everything you thought you knew about the 2024 Cowboys. Hey Cowboys Nation, welcome back to the channel. If you thought our win against the Steelers was the only big news this week, buckle up. We've got some major developments to break down today that could reshape our season. From crucial injuries to a potential changing of the guard in our backfield, there's a lot to unpack. So let's dive right in. Alright, before we get into the breaking news, let's quickly recap that nail-biter against Pittsburgh. What a game, right? Our boys in blue showed some real grit out there, coming away with a hard-fought 2017 victory. Dak Prescott was surgical, going 22 of 30 for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the real story was our defense stepping up when it mattered most. Micah Parsons was an absolute menace, racking up 2 sacks and forcing a crucial fumble late in the fourth quarter. That turnover set up Brett Maher's game-winning 43-yard field goal as time expired. Talk about clutch. It wasn't always pretty, but good teams find ways to win these tight games on the road. Now, you might be thinking, great win, but what's the big deal? Well, Cowboys fans, this victory came at a cost. And that's where our breaking news begins. Tyler Guyton's injury bombshell. Let's start with the most shocking development. Rookie offensive tackle Tyler Guyton is headed to injured reserve with a torn ACL. This is a massive blow to our offensive line depth. Guyton, our third-round pick out of Oklahoma, had been impressing in limited snaps as a swing tackle. He even filled in admirably for Tyron Smith during a couple of games earlier this season. The coaching staff had high hopes for his development, and now this setback threatens to derail his rookie campaign. The silver lining here is that both Tyron Smith and Terrence Steele have been relatively healthy this season. But, in the NFL, you're always one play away from needing that next man up. Losing Guyton definitely limits our options if disaster strikes. Keep an eye on the waiver wire too. I wouldn't be surprised if we bring in a veteran tackle for a workout in the coming days. Names like Jason Peters or Nate Solder could be in play if the front office wants to add some experienced insurance. Marshawn Kneeland's mysterious absence. Now let's shift our focus to the defensive side of the ball. Eagle-eyed fans might have noticed that rookie edge rusher Marshawn Kneeland barely saw the field against Pittsburgh. Well, we finally have some clarity on that situation, and it's not great news. The team announced today that Kneeland is dealing with a high ankle sprain. While he's avoided injured reserve for now, this type of injury typically sidelines players for 4 to 6 weeks. It's a tough break for the 5th-round pick out of Western Michigan, who had been carving out a nice role in our defensive line rotation. The good news is that our defensive line has been a strength all season. Between Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Osa Odigizua, we still have plenty of firepower to get after opposing quarterbacks. But don't underestimate Kneeland's absence. He may not have been a household name, but his ability to spell our starters and provide a spark off the bench will be missed. This injury really tests our defensive line depth at a crucial point in the season. Rico Dowdle's ascension to RB1. Now, let's talk about potentially the biggest shakeup of all, the emergence of Rico Dowdle as a potential RB1 for the Cowboys. We all know Tony Pollard has been struggling to find his rhythm this season. Whether it's the lingering effects of last year's injury, or just a lack of chemistry with the offensive line, something's been off. Enter Rico Dowdle. Against the Steelers, Dowdle exploded for 112 yards on just 15 carries, including a spectacular 47-yard touchdown run that showcased his blend of speed and power. It was the kind of performance that forces coaches to reevaluate their depth chart. Here's what head coach Mike McCarthy had to say about Dowdle's breakout game. Now, before we get too carried away, let's remember that one game doesn't make a season. Pollard has a track record of success in this offense, and it's unlikely he'll be completely phased out. But the whispers of a running back by committee approach are growing louder. Here's how I see this playing out. Dowdle will almost certainly see an increase in touches moving forward. Expect him to get 12 to 15 carries per game at minimum. Pollard may shift into more of a receiving back role, similar to how we used to deploy him when Ezekiel Elliott was here. The coaching staff will ride the hot hand. If Dowdle continues to outperform Pollard, don't be shocked if the carry distribution shifts even more dramatically. This is a fluid situation, and one we'll be monitoring closely. But make no mistake, Cowboys fans, Rico Dowdle has forced his way into the conversation as a potential RB1. His emergence could be exactly what this offense needs to take things to the next level. Impact on playoff push. So, what does all this mean for our playoff aspirations? Well, it's a mixed bag. On one hand, the injuries to Guyton and Kneeland test our depth at crucial positions. The offensive line, in particular, is an area where you simply can't have enough quality bodies. Losing Guyton limits our options if injuries strike our starting tackles. Defensively, while Kneeland wasn't a starter, his absence puts more pressure on our top-end pass rushers to stay healthy and productive. It's a long season, and having reliable rotation players is crucial for keeping guys fresh down the stretch. But it's not all doom and gloom. The potential emergence of Rico Dowdle as a lead back could be a game-changer for this offense. If he can consistently provide the kind of explosive plays we saw against Pittsburgh, it adds another dimension to our attack. A reliable running game takes pressure off Dak Prescott and opens up play-action opportunities downfield. Let's also not forget that we're sitting at 7-2, firmly in control of the NFC East. These challenges are coming at a time when we have a bit of a cushion. It's much better to be working through these issues now rather than in must-win games in December and January. The key will be how we navigate the next month. Our upcoming schedule includes some winnable games against the Panthers and Commanders, but also tough tests against the Eagles and Bills. If we can weather this storm and come out of that stretch still in control of our playoff destiny, I like our chances down the stretch. All right, Cowboys Nation, let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground today. Tyler Guyton's season-ending ACL injury. Marshawn Kneeland's high ankle sprain. Rico Dowdle's potential ascension to RB1. It's a reminder of how quickly things can change in the NFL. One week you're celebrating a hard-fought win, the next you're reshuffling the depth chart due to injuries and emerging talents. But here's the bottom line: great teams find ways to overcome adversity. The next few weeks will tell us a lot about the character and depth of this Cowboys squad. Can we adapt to these changes? Will new stars emerge to fill the void? Those are the questions that will define our season. As always, I want to hear from you. What do you think about these developments? Are you worried about our offensive line depth? Excited about Rico Dowdle? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on America's team. Until next time, go Cowboys.